Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Andrew Tropin and I'm free and open source software developer, author of Guix Home and RD projects. On this stream series, we usually talk about development tools and practices and share a part of my usual workday. And also, of course, travel towards a sustainable, ethical business. And today, topic will be about opening a company. But let's recap what we had previously. It's already 2 weeks since we started the stream series, and I was streaming every working day. And we did a lot of tasks related to improving streaming setup, patched Qt to prevent OBS crashes on Wayland, made a simple chat logger to show chat overlay in video stream, and some other work. Also, we discussed a lot of things related to the approach we use developing projects, bringing value to other peoples, and for getting better long-term results. And of course, we did a lot of work related to test infrastructure and tests themselves for the project. Today we will focus on 2 primary topics. A company that you can use for your business and running tests on CI for the project. You can find me on Fediverse by those 2 handles. First one is Mastodon, which is primary text content. I quite active lately on Mastodon, and I also have account on PeerTube, so you can subscribe to it and watch it here. And I don't ask you to subscribe on YouTube because, I use it, but it's more like a backup option for my video channel and video content. And of course, you can write me an email on my personal email address or in RD, Devil, or Discuss mailing lists. Also, people often quite active on IRC channel, Tropin IRC channel at Libera. You can join and enjoy the community. Okay, let's talk about legal entity, why we need it, and how to pick a proper one. And I will be quite short here because it's actually quite complicated question and you need a lot of research to make a proper decision. But I will give you a few points that actually helped me to make a decision, and I will explain why I decided to do this way. First of all, you need to pick a location for your legal entity or your company, and it's an interesting process. You need to explore all the countries we have, find in which one you can actually open a legal entity and what you need to do. So, and different countries provide different laws according to this, provide different taxes schemes and many other properties of legal entity. A few months ago, I decided to go to Georgia and open a legal entity here for a few simple reasons. I can do it without being a resident of the country. This is, quite important because it simplifies the process very much. Here you have an option to create a small business, a legal entity for small business, which will have a very low taxes. It's around 1% for volumes less than 150K per year, United States dollars, of course, per year. And it's really good starting point. If you don't have big volumes, you can start here and later decide on what to do next and maybe migrate to some other country or create a different legal entity in Georgia or something like that. Another very cool property of this solution is a volume of paperwork. You don't need to do a lot of it. You just have a web interface where you can input the amount of income to your legal entity and send it once in a month. And that's it, nothing else. You just sending those numbers and just pay taxes. So it's quite cool. I don't really like paperwork, but here I don't even need to hire someone to help me with it. I can just do it myself, just spending a few minutes of my time every month. The downside of this legal entity, I can't have employees, so I can't hire someone, but I can interact with them as individual entrepreneurs and make some contracts with them. So it's, kind of okay for now, because I still don't know how good this idea will be, how successful my company will be, and it's okay for me right now to have only a legal entity without any employees and even ability to have employees in future. And it's actually a nice problem to have if I get many people interested and people who want to be a part of this project and this company. So I can later switch a legal entity type and hire employees if it's necessary. Or maybe I will just work with them as contractors or some other way. And that's pretty much it about opening a company. I already created a legal entity and already can make contracts and went through the process of getting a status of small business and tried to send those declarations with, for now, zero income, but it was quite simple process. I spent around 2-3 weeks maybe, and most of this time I just waited for the response from bank, which took around one and a half week to get bank account opened for this legal entity. Creating legal entity itself took around maybe 2 or 3 days. It was almost flawless. And if you're interested in more details or want to replicate the same process, just write me email or message on Mastodon or somewhere else. Okay, that's it about companies and what we have right now. If you have any additional questions about it, just let me know. But we can go to our actual work and implement something very useful, which we will need for scaling up RD project and to make the development process more enjoyable. Hi Ozloy. Hi everyone actually who is watching me right now. And let's go and write something and improve our test infrastructure in RD. Let's Let's start from makefile. Inside root makefile in RD project, we have a check target, which for now just builds a sample home environment, and it is needed to check that RD channel builds successfully, and that's it. And it doesn't give too much to us. We just making sure that our channels can be built. And actually we don't have to use a log file. We need to use just channels file, because I would like to build a latest version of RD every time. But it's not very important. We will rewrite this check target anyway. But for now, let's create check test target, which we will use to launch tests, and later it's probably will take place of check target itself. What we can do here, we already have, if you remember, we already have one namespace with tests, one model with tests, which we already can use for actually testing a part of RDE implementation. And let's try to write a makefile target, which will launch all those tests in this model. For this, we will need guile, and using guile, we will load all the source code related to the project. In our guile repo, and we'll evaluate the code in test namespace, I guess. But also, it would be cool to set a custom test runner. Okay, let's open emacs shell, and inside this emacs shell we will launch guile, and we'll see what options it has. Okay, what is interesting here? -e, which allows to evaluate some code. That means if we set load path correctly, we will be able to launch some function inside our source code. And this function can run tests for us. It looks good to me. Let's create a namespace or a model which will have the code for running tests. Probably we can use RD test runners. It's not a committed model, but we can do it. We can actually do it. On previous week, I committed tests and some test utils to RD master. And today probably we will commit test runners model 2, because we will use it for running our tests. Okay, here we have some imperative code that I don't actually want to be launched during evaluation of this namespace. We can wrap it in function run project tests like this. Boop. Okay, we have a function, so nothing executed when we load this namespace. Which is good. Now we have a function inside test runners model, which is run project tests, and we can call it. We can just call it and see the result. So to set correct load paths, we will use pre-inst.env script, which sets our load path to src tests and src local, which actually my local change in original file. We don't have src local, but it's not very important. I guess it will work both ways. And after that, we need to launch guile. And inside this guile, we will do something like this. We need a function from rd test runners model, which called run project tests. Okay, this way we got the function, and now we need to launch it. Okay, and it complains that unbound variable run project tests. It is because we didn't export it. Export run project tests. Nice. We got some result. And we got some errors. It seems that test runner was launched, but later something else happened. Not a big problem. We will figure it out, and we'll see what we can do about it. Hey and Vox. Do I plan to publish my tests related work as a library? It is a good question. I think about it. I still not finalized the way I will be writing tests. For now, it's just plain SRFI 64 compatible code, which is, works. It works some way. But to make a better tooling, to make an ability to launch particular test, to relaunch failed tests, maybe I will need to adjust the way we write our tests. It means that maybe we will need additional macros which are not a part of SRFI 64. Maybe we will need something else to make it possible to implement, because with current approach for writing tests, let me demonstrate it on Lisp tests. We have very imperative way to declare our tests. That means that we declare test begin, test groups inside those test begin, test end forms, which are basically a macros for test begin, test end. And this way it's almost impossible to launch a particular test and to guarantee that you didn't forget anything. And that means some of the functionality that I want to implement, for example, in Emacs, is hard or maybe even impossible, I don't know yet, to implement with current SR564 approach. So I will need to figure out the approach for writing tests first. And after that, when I really understand how to better do it, I will need to run some tooling around it, like test runners, maybe some additional utilities and so on, macros itself. And after that, when we really figure out almost everything that we need for testing, we can make a separate library for it and move it from RD test runners and RD test utils to a library so everyone and every other project can use it. So the basically answer is yes. I have such plans. The longer answer that I don't know when it will happen and if it happen at all. But I almost sure it will happen and relatively soon, like in a few weeks, maybe a few months. I hope it wasn't too long answer to your quite good question. Okay, let's go back to our test runners and let's comment out everything we have here. And inside this test runner, I would like to call submodels resolve model RD serializers, like this. And now let's launch again. Also, not to call this thing manually every time. I will just open makefile, put it here, and we'll be just running makefile. Make a minus check test, like this. And now I will be able to relaunch it easily without going to the shell and updating prompt with the previous comment and so on. Here we have wrong type to apply. Okay. Why it happens? Syntax error. Display hello. Wrong type to apply unspecified. Why it happens? Let's comment out everything in this file except this function. and we still get an error. Okay, probably I know what is the problem. The problem is inside our makefile. It's very likely we don't need those second parentheses. Wrong number of arguments, 2. Okay, let's open our shell and let's see guile minus help minus e function. After reading script, apply function. Okay, this function have to accept command line arguments, so we need to update the signature. Let's go to our namespace. Is it enough? Yes, it's enough. The problem that it launched an actual REPL, but we don't need it. Let's see if it's possible to specify to guile, not to launch a REPL, but just to execute a function. Okay, I don't actually want a minus e, I want minus c and specify the expression. Let's go back here. It should be minus c, and probably we need those parentheses. And now we want to remove it. Yep, good. We succeed and get our function launched. Display hello from run project tests. Good. It works. Now probably we will need to solve the problem we had last time, that our guix models not loaded. You can see that guix models loaded for some reason. And RD not loaded. Let's see at guix SCM file. Maybe something here says. Okay, I see. We have this code here, which actually call model use and a list of models, and those models get loaded. Okay, now I need to figure out how to get all my models, all my test models, become loaded. Ideally without explicitly calling use models or similar functions. Let's see what model use function does. What is interface of the model? Model interface. Do we have such? The interface of a model is also a model object, but it contains only the exported bindings. Or bindings. Actually, it's an interesting question. I don't see a transcription here in the dictionary. Okay. It's an interesting question, but doesn't matter too much. What is a use list? Okay, let's do a hacky trick. Let's call use models. Which one we want? RD serializers. Lisp test. Whoa. Very interesting. Very interesting. When we called use models, it's the code for this model was evaluated, but I don't actually want it. I actually need something like this probably. Get the interface of this model and call model use. And let's see what it accepts. It accepts model and interface. Add interface to the front of the use list of model. Let's try it out. where I is current model, resolve interface, RD, serializers, Lisp test, like this. And if we call model public interface, okay, let's set our test runner so the output is more meaningful. This is a problem. We have our test cases defined in an imperative manner, and every time we touch the model containing those test cases, the test begin and test end, actually test begin inside this model get evaluated, and it instantiates a test runner which actually runs those tests. But I would like to load the model without executing tests and execute them later. It seems that SRFI64 designed to be used only on command line, and probably authors of this survey didn't thought about using it in a programmatic way, as we can try to do right now. So let's see what we can do. We can wrap it in a function. We can wrap every test group in a function, or we can wrap the whole model. Like this. So now you can see that nothing happens here. No test was executed. And now we need to figure out how to better implement this separation of evaluation and actually execution phase of the tests. With test begin and test group, we can't separate the evaluation and execution. Evaluation should return an object like function or record or something else that will contain inside itself the code which will actually execute statements for those tests. Probably we will need to figure out a mechanism on top of SRFI64. And this is not the task for the stream actually, because it requires a lot of concentration and a lot of thinking. But we can draft some implementation that can be used later. The simplest way will be to define a record, and after that get all the records of this type and launch them one by one. And after that, write a macro like dev test something. Oh, actually, I already talked about it on previous streams, and even has something here like define tests, our super test suite, test group, something, few assertions. We would like to have something like this. Do we want to invent one more testing framework for scheme language? I don't know. Actually, I don't want to invent it. But maybe it's not that bad. I would like first to know about all already existing frameworks. For Common Lisp, there's an article here which describes all the frameworks and compares them somehow. And the list is huge, but it is for Common Lisp. I would like to see something similar for Scheme. Okay, what I suggest right now. I suggest to implement tests somehow and later refactor and to make it more usable and feature-proof. That means that we will remove our wrapping function and we'll use srf64 format, and we'll do pretty straightforward thing here. We will remove it, we'll take it, place it here, uncomment it. Okay, what we have? We have a test runner set. We have test begin and test end to wrap all the tests inside a more generic test group. And now we have use models, which will trigger the evaluation of the model and will cause all the tests to be launched. And as you can see, it works. Now we need the only the only one more thing, uh, and it is exit code, which can be used to validate if everything is okay or not. Let's open makefile and here echo exit code. Okay. How to get an exit code inside make target. Make exit code. It's unbelievably complex system and complicated. Okay, I won't be actually printing exit code. I will just try to set a different exit code. Guile exit code. Okay, we have exit function. Also, we had a run64 test runner. Run 64. And here exit. Okay, quite simple construction. You can use the same, I guess. What is happening here? If we have 0 fail count, we can take test runner current. Boom. Okay, this test end. Probably sets test runner current to false. Let's see. Yep, it looks like. It looks like a very unsatisfying way to do it, but fail count. We can get a fail count before we launching test end, last test end. And based on the value of fail count, change exit code. Compilation finished. Exit 0 status. Let's add assert. I don't remember how it's called. Test assert. Test assert. Simple assert false. Failing. And now we have one failing assert and fail count is equal to 1. And our compilation failed. And if we remove this assert, our compilation succeeds, which is very nice. So we can use it in our actual CI to see if it works. Okay, you already can see a lot of downsides of imperative approach. First of all, we need to specify model which we would like to load by use models, and when it evaluated, the test process is already launched, even if we don't want it. This is the first problem. The second problem is that we can't make automation of this thing. Or we can somehow programmatically get all the models with test suffix. I don't know yet how we will do it, but it's for sure possible, because we already have a load path, and in this load path we can search for models with test suffix, and we can call use models for those models. Okay, but we can't do it somewhere separately and after that actually launch the tests. We need to set up our test runner first, and only after that evaluate all test models. This is quite unsatisfying, I would say. And another thing that we need to get a fail count from test runner first before we call the latest test end. And this is another reason why we need to wrap the use models in test begin, test end, because otherwise our test runner will be destroyed by the code inside this model. So if I remove it and we'll restart the tests, we will get a problem because our current test runner will be set to false by test end, which is defined inside this model. This is why we need to wrap use models with test begin, test end. It's unsatisfying as well. We can use something like this to automatically discover all the models and load them. Let's see what we have here. Run tests for file. We have primitive load file. But it should be not primitive load but just load, and discover tests. Discover tests should accept a directory of our current model. Let's comment it out and just print get current working directory. It is the directory of the REPL where we launch our guile process, not the directory of the model. But how to get the directory of the model? Standard procedures, port, system interface. Call with what we have in current model, reader, file name, current file name. Let's see. Current file name. Interesting. It's false. It expands to false if this information isn't available. Okay, let's see what current else we have here. Load port, source location. Oh, nice. How to get the value of a list? Sticky behave file name. I clearly have a list which contains file name entry, which value is socket. Oh, okay. I just did it in the wrong order. What else current we have? Current model, reader, file name, time. Current model. Okay, model, ref, kind, name, user, file name. Oh, it looks good. It looks really good. And now let's get the directory. It's probably just dir name. Dir name like this. And discover tests. Very nice. Define tests. Test files. Test files. Boom. In procedure dir name. Wrong type argument in position 1. Expecting string but get false. Okay, let's print it. Okay. PK. Current model is good, but we need not the current model. We need resolve model RD test runners. And I will explain in a minute why. PK test files. PK model file name. Absolute. Okay, absolute file name. Cananicalize pass like this. Okay, it looks correct. Almost correct. It's almost correct, but it's not. No such file or directory. Sad. Very sad. What else I can say? Current file name. Good morning, Thanos. Okay, current file name is false. I stuck a little. I want to get a list of files with tests. but I can't get it because I can't get the pass, the absolute pass to my current model. What we can do, we can use load pass variable and look through all the load pass entries and find where we have this file present. Oh, where do we have search pass function? Search path. This is different search path. Oh, maybe it's a guile function. Search path. Okay. It seems so. Path, file name, rest. Path for a directory containing a file named file name. Okay, let's see. Search. What we usually do? Search path, load path. Okay. Load path. Let's see. Okay, okay. Now we have a relative path to our tests, which is good, and absolute path inside the REPL, and its correct path. Very nice. Define this model file path, or just file. This model file, and here you just need a dir name. Dir name for this model file, like this. Test files. Whoa, whoa. We did some progress. Okay, we don't need this call anymore. We don't need it. We don't need comments here. Primitive. To primitive load here. Bam. And we got fail somehow. Fail case 1. Interesting. Okay, it's okay because we have actual init test and we have this failing test. Expect fail. Success. Actually, we can just change it to primitive load. That's it. Okay, we did a very hacky implementation of our programmatic test runner. It's a little more than test runner. Test runner is just a record in terms of Surface 64, which controls the evaluation process for tests. But what I talk about here, we have a little bigger thing which works on top of it. Let's call it test infrastructure, which can find tests inside our project and run them. It's done on file basis. But it looks okay for now. Later we will improve it. Let's remove all that stuff. Okay, somehow we got 6 failed tests. How we achieved it? Okay, we removed it. We removed this code. Still works. Very nice. Commenting out. Use models ICE9 pretty print leads to test failure. It's very interesting. It's completely awful. How does this import inside this model affects test execution? disgusting. Okay, Lisp tests pretty. I don't get it. Okay, we have this use model pretty print. We commented out. And now we have 6 failed tests inside our let's use absolute file names. It's a little better. We have serialize and read config. And serialize config failing. Okay, okay. It's really strange. For now, to get something to work, we will keep this import, but can we actually move it to serializers itself? Yes, we can. Can we move it? Can we move it here? Begin. Use models. Pretty print. Nope. It doesn't work. Holy crap. What this problem is about? Okay, if we change it to display. Okay, I'm completely confused. I'm really confused. Maybe something wrong with the value store procedure. Store. Do we have any prints here? No. Let's write a test assert. Test equal testing something. What we expect? String eval with store string. Okay, eval with store works. Eval with store works. Okay, something wrong with serialize and read config. What about serialize config? Okay, serialize config doesn't work either. Oh. Actually, I did a wrong thing. String. Cool. We see that serialize config works. Reader macros. Reader macros fails. Why it fails? Reader macros. Quote. Obtained false. Mystery. Complete mystery. Okay. Okay. Probably. I have an idea. Let's restart our REPL. Let's reconnect to it. And let's reval test runners. Test factory. No code for model RD tests store. Why it's so? We definitely have this model here. And it says no code for model. Okay, let's keep this line for now, and we'll figure out later. Because I would like to commit something already working, so we can test it on CI. RD test store. Okay. tests at hack2 serializers lisp test. And our test runner. I don't want to commit the whole file because there are a lot of comments and other stuff. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Okay, RD, not RD, tests, RD test runners. And now let's see what we have inside makefile. You can comment it out and just do this. Check test. Okay, actually I will just remove everything here. Guile. Actual tests. Just like this. Let's see if it works. Boom. Okay, probably this is because our pre-inst env doesn't contain tests in the load pass. Yep, that's right. That's okay, we'll fix it quickly. Okay, let's set it to just pre-inst env directly. Oh no, oh no. Let's see. Maybe. Let's just remove it now. So it has its original value. Now we have the same problem here, and let's open makefile and launch our tests. Guile load pass. Or maybe just do this tests. Add tests to check to guile load pass in check target. And now let's see another. CI task. Success. Cool. We launched our first tests on CI. Like actual tests written specifically. Very good. I am not really satisfied with the way we have our tests right now. Getting loaded automatically when you require a namespace or a model. And I'm not very satisfied with traversing files to actually find tests. We will need to figure it out how to better implement it and to separate evaluation of the model and execution of the tests. but it works. It works and already can be used and can be useful. So it seems we have a practical solution which can be used already, but it's actually a room for improvement, of course. And I think that's it for today. At the end, I will say don't seek for a perfect solution and start somehow, and later improve on it. It relates both to some business stuff like creating legal entity and to technical stuff as writing test infrastructure for a project. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.